Hello! Woo! What's up, everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my new series, Letters to Lucy, where I read your letters out loud and verbally respond to them however I see fit. This is my new show. This is it.
Letters to Lucy.
If you're new to my YouTube channel, be sure to click on the little subscribe button in the corner and give this video a thumbs up if you're excited for the new series. If you want to write into me for advice with the hopes that maybe I'll read your letter aloud in a future episode, shoot me an email to lucie@luciefink.com and maybe you'll be featured. Let me know in your email if you want to remain anonymous. I will never read your name or location out loud without express permission from you. I made one Instagram story where I asked my followers to send me their questions, and it seemed that all of the questions fell into certain categories. So there was like high school, college, grades, relationships, friends, all that good stuff. So for this specific episode, I tried to bundle together relevant topics so that you guys could click on it and kind of know what you're gonna see. We're just gonna get started all the way across the world in India. Hey Lucy, my name is Nayanika and I am from India. I am your huge fan and you inspire me a lot. You taught me how to be kind and humble. I am extremely grateful for you and happy for you. Best of luck for your amazing future ahead with Michael. Thank you. Now coming to the hard part. For the last few years, things have not been going well. I did certain stuff in my life that I'm not proud of, and those things still give me a lot of anxiety. I'm an engineering student, but I don't know whether I'm doing it because I like it or just to make my parents feel that I'm worthy of something. And no matter how hard I try, I don't get good grades. And this makes me feel like I'm a useless person. I try to be positive as much as I can, but sometimes it really hurts and I lose my mind. If you're reading this, then thank you. I have no problem if you reveal my name. I really love all of your videos, especially Try Living with Lucy. I really adore your free spirit and positive vibe. Thankfully, Nayanika. Nayanika, this is a very tough letter, and there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. I'm gonna start with your line that you have certain things from your past that you're not that proud of. Not that this should make you feel any better, but I want you to know that many people have things from their past that they're not that proud of. People make mistakes, people do things that they later regret, and so not everyone is living in a perfect state of bliss where everything from their past is perfect. I once heard from someone that if you constantly live in the past, you're gonna have depression, and if you constantly live in the future, you're gonna have anxiety. And so what it's sounding like to me is that you seem to be living in your head, maybe living a little bit too closely in the past, and what you really need to do is move a little bit more towards living in the present moment. There's a lot of mindfulness practices that you can try, things like mindful eating or mindful walking, things that really ground you in the present and force you to sort of be where you are right now instead of being in your head somewhere in the past being upset about something. Going on to this line about how you are an engineering student but you don't know if you're doing it for yourself or for your parents. A lot of people actually do things for their parents. They want to make their parents proud. Personally, I don't think that it's good parenting to put that sort of pressure on your kids such that your livelihood or happiness as a parent is directly tied to your child's success, because that can sometimes put a lot of unnecessary stress on the child. So if you are in that situation and your parents are doing that to you, I'm very sorry. That's a really, really tough position to be in. What I will tell you is that you should do some soul searching and thinking. You know, maybe you love engineering, but the fact that your parents also want you to do it makes you think that maybe you don't actually love it. On the flip side, maybe you don't actually love it, and the fact that they want you to do it is just putting unnecessary pressure, and now you're all confused. There are a million scenarios of what this could be, but you should really do some thinking about what it really is you want to do, and if you're going down a path purely because you want to make your parents proud, that's not going to end well. I want to let you know, even if your parents haven't told you this, that you are worth something. You're actually worth a lot. You're a human life, so you're worth just as much as any single human that's roaming the earth at this moment. You say, I have depression issues and I get super nervous and scared before any exam. Of course you get nervous and scared before any exam because your parents are putting so much pressure on you that you feel like you need to perform well or you're going to disappoint them. When you're in that steady state and you're getting a little nervous, it seems that in those moments you're really living in the future. So that's why you're feeling that anxiety before an exam. No matter how hard you try, you don't get good grades, and this makes me feel like you're a useless person. One thing I want to say, and this is for anyone out there that is not getting good grades does not equal useful person. Some people are just much better in school because they're good at testing or they're really good at reading textbooks and memorizing facts, and other people just can't perform that well, and it really doesn't say much about them as a person. Years down the line, you'll be able to look back at individual classes you took and you won't even remember what grades you got. And in regards to your last line, I try to be positive as much as I can, but sometimes it really hurts. I'm not sure what the stuff in your past is that you're referring to, but I just want to let you know that sometimes there are issues that are far too difficult for you to deal with on your own, and in those cases I would highly recommend seeking an outside professional's help. Thank you for writing in, Nyanika. Sending you all the love in the world from New York, and now on to the next letter. Hello, my name is Miriam. Hope you are fine. I'm from and I'm 18 years old. I would like to remain anonymous except for my name. I'm currently going to school and will soon have a semester, half of a school year, behind me. But during that time, I felt very bad. I had to deal with stress every day because I had a lot to study. I lost a lot of weight and I'm soon underweight. Every day I'm very tired and usually have no strength or vitality anymore. Doctors think I should do sports and do other important things, but I do not have the motivation for that. What could I do about stress, or how could I handle it better? I'm looking forward to an answer. Best regards. All right, Miriam, sounds like you need some help. The first thing I would suggest is going to see a doctor, because it seems like some of the things you're experiencing, like weight loss, being really tired, having no strength and vitality, those could all be the symptoms of some major underlying issue that only a doctor can diagnose. It does seem like you've already been to doctors, because you say that doctors think you should do sports and other important things. So if you've already seen a medical doctor, maybe looking into a holistic doctor could be helpful to sort of look at your body on the whole scale. The first thing that comes to mind when I read your letter are the 6 pillars of health, and you didn't mention anything in here that would tell me how well or how not well you're doing on all of these pillars, but I'm gonna read you each of them, and I think that you should try to focus on these 6 areas of your life. Number 1 is sleep. That is the prime thing. I'm not sure if you're sleeping well, but our bodies can't refresh and rejuvenate and heal or have any sort of cell repair unless we're sleeping properly. So if you're feeling tired and sluggish, potentially you need more sleep. Next is exercise, but the way the doctors are phrasing this to you to do sports and other important things, I don't know if getting out there and being extremely active, especially when you're feeling tired, is even going to be possible for you. So when I use the word exercise, I just mean adding some movement into your life. Maybe taking a walk, maybe just getting outside into nature and stretching. I'm sure plenty of people out there would say that sweat is a very important aspect of it, but just moving, you know, getting the blood flowing. The third pillar of health is eating whole foods. I'm not sure what your diet is. You did mention that you've lost a lot of weight. I'm not sure if that's because you're not eating as much food, but whole foods are incredibly important. And what I mean by whole foods are just real foods, nothing processed, foods that come from the earth. Number 4 is hydration, making sure you're drinking enough clean water throughout the day. The 5th pillar is mental health, so if you're having any sort of mental health issues like stress or anxiety or depression, definitely seeking out a professional that can help you with that. And the last pillar is community and social life. So it's very important for people to be surrounded by people they love and by people who love them, making sure you have good friends and good relationships with the people around you. Looking back at your letter though, it does seem like this letter is highly medical, and I want to be very clear with you that I am not a medical expert in any sense of the word. I'm just trying to give you advice on the areas of my life that I would look at if I was in this situation, but it really does sound like speaking to a holistic wellness expert is your best bet. Okay. And now on to the next letter. Hi Lucy, pizza emoji. She knows. I love you and your channel so much. My name is please keep my name anonymous, and I'm a senior in high school in Washington, D.C. I'm starting to think a lot about my future in terms of what I want to do and where I want to live after college. The problem is that I get so hung up and nervous that I won't be successful in the fashion industry. I want to work in the business side of the fashion industry. I don't really know if I want to live in New York City for the rest of my life after college, but this is the only place for my intended career. I know I'm just overthinking everything, but this is the problem. I'm worrying a lot about my future, and I'm scared that I won't end up successful or happy with my life. Please help, as this has been a big stressor of mine. I have a very worrying nature as it is, and I guess I'm just scared of change and the future. Thank you so much for reading this and considering giving me advice. Thanks for being awesome and being a light in my life. Well, I really appreciate you writing to me. This is such a sweet letter. You sound really driven, and it seems like if you want a job in the fashion industry, you're gonna have a job in the fashion industry. So I applaud you on that. On a similar note to what I said to the previous letter, The people that tend to live life stuck in the past wind up feeling a little depressed, whereas people that live life in the future completely in their heads wind up anxious. It seems to me that you are falling a little bit more on the anxious scale with your stress about not ending up successful and not ending up happy. According to your letter, you're a senior in high school, which means you're currently at a very, very exciting time in life. And also, according to your letter, you'll be going to college. So that means you have 4 years of even more excitement coming up right now. You seem to me to be way ahead of the game. You already know that you want to work in fashion, which means when you go to college, you can sort of tailor your classes towards the business side of the fashion industry. And that's going to be great for you. But I think the best advice I can give you is just be where you are right now. You're a senior in high school, you have so much excitement coming up. The problem is you want to work in the fashion industry, but you're not sure if you want to live in New York for the rest of your life after college, even though that's the only place. Even though you might think that New York City is the absolute only place in the world that you can live if you want to work in the fashion industry, I'm just going to be the first person to tell you, perhaps the first person, maybe I'm the second, that is not true. There are definitely fashion-related jobs in pretty much every major city center across the country. Even if New York City is the top of the top of the top with the best fashion companies in the world, it's not the only place that you can work that's fashion related. The other thing I want to tell you is that if you do get an awesome job at a fashion company in New York City and you live here after college, it's not the place that you have to stay for the rest of time. This is a great city. I love New York. Personally, I'm from the state of New York, so this is very close to home, and I love the vibe of this place, but it's not for everyone. Many people, in fact, hate New York City, and they think it's too crazy, it's too fast-paced, they get lost in a sea of people, it's loud, it's stressful. I feel you. Don't necessarily throw New York City away as an option for your first job post-college, but just know that just getting one job here doesn't mean you're stuck here for life. So it's really not a race to figure out what you want to do. It's not a race to get that first job. It's not a race to figure out where you're going to settle down and live the rest of your life. Just enjoy the moment today. On to the next letter. Last letter of the day. Hi Lucy, my name is and I'm 17 years old. I'm currently in the middle of the college process, and I know you went to college, so I was wondering how you got through it. Currently, some of my best friends are getting into really great universities, and I have yet to have good news. How did you get through the process, and do you have any tips? I feel as though I'm carrying so much pressure because I go to a private school, so I need to make sure that I'm doing good by my parents as well as by all they have invested in me. Could I have my name remain anonymous, please? Thank you. Absolutely. I will not say your name. Well, actually, I will say it, but I will bleep it out. The college process. I know. That's all I gotta say is I know. It is a really stressful time being a high school student and applying to college and seeing all the people around you applying and getting decisions right before your eyes. And I don't know if they still use the system, but when I was applying, we had this portal that you would log on to, and you were actually translated into a dot, and your dot would be shown on a graph surrounded by the dots of your fellow classmates and peers, and you would actually see how likely you were to get into a school as compared to everyone else. That was not fun. I'm gonna say something that's maybe a little fluffy. Maybe some people out there are gonna be like, ugh, okay, unsubscribe at this moment. Maybe, but just give it a shot. I personally believe that everything happens for a reason. Some might say, what are you talking about? Everything happens for a reason, then why are there hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes killing hundreds of people? And for that, I don't have an answer. But what I will say is that if you apply that mentality to your actual life, not to some of the devastating stuff that's happening around the world, it can actually help you live a more happy, fulfilled, and positive life. When I was applying to college, I really wanted to go to this one school, and I actually got accepted to the school, but it was some weird situation where they accepted me for the next year, so I would have had to take a gap year or go somewhere else in the meantime. And I chose Johns Hopkins University as the college that I was going to go to in the meantime. And it was really only after 1 week on campus that I realized I didn't want to go to the other school. I wanted to stay where I was. And I loved Hopkins and had the best experience. Over the course of my time at Hopkins was when I really realized that if I actually compared the two universities, the Hopkins experience and what it provided me would not have been possible at this other college for a whole number of reasons. So at the end of the day, even though in that moment I was devastated that I didn't get accepted immediately into my dream school and I couldn't go where I wanted, I had all these visions of going there, I realized a little while down the road that everything happens for a reason. If you actually look at your own life and all the things that are happening to you, everything from an illness you're getting to an award you're winning and think, wow, this is happening to me for a reason. That can be really illuminating and can help you get through some really tough times and also ground you in really exciting times. How did I get through the process, and do I have any tips? Personally, I didn't really ask my friends what was going on in their college process until I felt stable in mine. Try your very best to not compare yourself to the people around you, because that is not going to do you any good. At the end of the day, you're probably not even directly competing with these people, and even if you are, there's nothing you can do about it. The competition that you're feeling in the application process is something that you're probably going to feel in the future in job interviews, when you're applying for a new job, or even if you're going for a promotion at your current job. And you can either establish yourself as a competitive person who's constantly looking left and right around you, trying to figure out where you are in relation to everyone else, or you can establish yourself as a confident person who realizes that they're not really competing with anyone because everyone's gonna go off and do their own thing and you are on your own path. This last line about how you feel so much pressure to do good by your parents because they've invested a lot in you, I'm just gonna tell you, your parents love you and are so proud of you no matter what. Truthfully, most of the time parents are putting pressure on kids, it's just because they love you so much and they want you to have the best life and set yourself up for success however you can. Maybe sit down and talk to them and tell them you're trying the best you can and you love them too, but that the stress that they're giving you is not making things any better. My biggest tips for you are, don't compare yourself to others, smile a little more, enjoy the process, and don't put so much pressure on yourself. And that is it for the letters to Lucie today. I really hope you guys like this new series. Comment below, let me know what you think. If you want to send me any letters that you want me to read and give you advice on in future episodes, please email lucie@luciefink.com and I'll potentially call you out in a future episode. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching my new show. Click here for another video on my channel and right here to subscribe. Bye.